Welcome to Flix Extra, Radu Mihaileanu.
Oh, great. Oh, thank you. How many weeks you rehearsal that?
نسيم لاباس عليك؟ الو 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 الريزو الحمار دور ولا غادي نبيع الحمار تاع بوك في السوق يلا.
Can you please briefly summarise the story for our viewers?
It's a very ancient story. Let's say it's like a fairy tale or an oriental fairy tale in a little tiny village somewhere in North Africa or in the Middle East. Women go to the top of the mountain, to the source, to pump water every day, and they have to come down in the village with that water. So for sure it's a very hard job, and even they fall down when they go down. They fall down, and sometimes they also lose babies. So one day the young, wonderful, beautiful woman played by the beautiful Leila Bekti, she decides to convince all women to make the streak of love, streak of sex, of tenderness, of kisses, of everything, until men pump the water to the village.
هذا هو السلاح الوحيد اللي عندنا على الرجال. نقدر نمشي نسقي 100 عام ما نبقاش بلا نعس مرة عندك مسمار بين فخادك.
اش كتبين تما؟ قلوبكم يابسين ومشوكين بحال هذا البير.
So what drew you to write this particular story?
There are many reasons. Let's say the most simple reason was a fact that happened in Turkey in 2001, exactly the same story in a little tiny village. But in fact, I go to Arab countries and mostly in Morocco since 25 years. And I always met wonderful, great women in the countryside. And I always saw that they had a really hard life. But in the same time, I discovered huge humor that I didn't know. I give you one example. They never say we made love or we made sex. They said we put the bread in the forn. Which is so wonderful. Those people that we call not civilized because they have no education, or what we call education, because they don't know how to read and to write. In fact, they have much more poetry and more metaphor that we have. And so I met that joy of life instead of the sufferance. And the poetry, how they live together, so that means that solidarity. And I always think, one day, and I will do a movie about that. I will do a movie about that way of living, that energy.
My feeling was that this was a humanist rather than a feminist film. Was this your intention?
Yes, for me it was very important to not judge and to try to go into their subjectivity, to try to be, even if I'm a man, to go inside the woman's subjectivity and inside the Arabic Muslim world subjectivity. And in fact to show that it's not, I'm very glad that you say that it's not a feminist film, in the sense that it's not a war woman against men. It's a war woman with men for women's right and for human beings' right. That to say that every human being on this planet, we have the same rights. Anybody has the same rights. So there are a lot of men too who fight for women's rights.
ليلى ما تحبسي عليا هاد الاضراب دابا
كنكره نكون الشيطان لعب بيكم. خاصك تاخذ مرة أخرى هذا تخرج عليكم كتحشم بينا.
The film was produced by Luc Besson. What was it that drew him to the project?
So it's co-produced by Luc Besson. The main producers are Elsevier Film, myself, and Luc came, he co-produced, he distributed, he did the wholesales. He was also the distributor of the concert. He was very involved with the concert too, so it's an old friendship story, let's say. And Luc now, he's involved in a wide kind of thematics. It's not anymore just action movies like 10 years ago.
This is the 5th release for Picturehouse Entertainment, a brand new distributor committed to quality cinema. How does it feel to be on board?
I feel great to be distributed in UK, and I always love to come here. And I just wait tomorrow night to see how people will react. Knowing that you know very well here in England, you have a very close relationship with the Arabic Muslim world. So that community live really together with the people in UK. So I'm very curious to see how the community on one side, like in France, and how the English people react to that.
And finally, Radu Mihaileanu, what's next for you?
We are traveling in another civilization. We discovered, but it's too early to speak, but we discovered an extraordinary civilization that you must know very well, which are the Maasai in Tanzania.
Oh, yeah.
And so we already had a trip there, a very long trip there. We met them, and they are incredible people. And it's incredible how much they send us messages, even if they seem to live in a very ancient world.
Radu, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Good luck with the film, and look forward to seeing you on the next project.
Thank you so much.
هذا الشيء علاش خصنا نداليو باش ندور بحالنا بحال الرجال خصنا ما نفشلوش.
واش كتعرف اش كيتسناكم من بعد غادي يطلبوا لكم ماكينه الصابون.